So, hello everyone, myself Anirudh. So, now we are going to start a topic very highly, which is very highly rated in AWS cloud. So, we are going to start database today. So, I am going to start with RDS, which is nothing but relational database service. So in that we are going to start MySQL today. So yes, so brief introduction about RDS. So it is a AWS managed service. We don't need to manage anything, so we just want to configure everything, that's all. So backend everything is managed by the AWS, and the main thing is we no need to do any patching activities. So yeah, let's start. So this is RDS, as you can see, managed RDS. So it is AWS managed, fully managed. So we are going to open it in a new tab. So in RDS you are going to create a database which is two-tier application. We are going to do a two-tier application for now, which is integrating EC2 and RDS together. So let's start creating database. So we go with standard create, where standard create, in the sense we are configuring everything, means we are on our own wish, we are configuring everything. So easy create is nothing but AWS will decide everything for us for best practice configuration, which is not recommended to use. So we will go with standard create, and as I said, we will go with MySQL for now. As we are starting with database, we shall go with MySQL at the start. So addition is MySQL. So version we are going with 8.35, which is already default. So we don't need to check this enable RDS extended support. We don't need any support from the AWS. So if we check this, as you can see, we will get paid. So production, this is, so production, which is nothing but used in corporates, they'll use this, which is nothing but we'll have many options, as it will be a high availability setup, multi availability zone setups will be there. So now we are going to use only free tier, as we are starting database. So let's go with free tier, where as you can see, this is checked automatically. So single DB instance, it is nothing but not high availability, multi availability zone is not available for free tiers. So we'll go with single database instance. So you can give any name here, identifier. So I'm going to use the default name database1. So master username, so this is our credential settings. So here we can change anything. So I'm going to go with the username, also default username, admin. So managed in AWS secret manager. There is a service called secret manager. So as you can see here, you can set your own everything for every credentials wherever you need in AWS. You can go with that. So I'm not going with that because I'm just doing a demo here. So let's go with self-managed. So we'll set a password here, any password of your choice. I'm going to give some password, and you need to reconfirm your password here. So let's enter. So two tier now. So instance configuration, we need to decide the instance configuration settings. So I'm going to go with burstable classes. So because we have enabled free tier, only we can choose DB-T3 micro and DB-T4G micros. So only these two are free. So we are going to select DB-T3 micro as it's a free tier. So storage type also we are going to go with general purpose 2, as we are not going to store any high level data. We are just going to store some low level, some user data, that's all. So GB2 is enough. You have options of GB3, IO1, IO2. IO1, IO2 is, as you know, it's used for only high level data purposes. It's provisioned IOPS. So allocated storage is only 20 GB free tier. If you exceed this, you will be charged. So let's go with 20 only. So as you can see, maximum value is 6144 GB, which is nothing but 6 TB is the maximum allocated storage for the DB instance. So now here we enter EC2. So this is the DB instance configuration. As you can see here, it's the DB instance configuration, my bad, sorry. So this is the DB instance type, and this is the DB instance storage capacity we selected here. So here we are entering 2 tier. So we are doing a configuration of the EC2 setting. So now we need to select whether we need to connect to an EC2 resource or not connect. If we have an instance running already, then we can go with, see, as you can see, I have no instances yet, so we'll go with don't connect to an EC2 computer. So if you have a EC2 instance running, then you can go with this. So I'll go with don't connect to an EC2 computer source. So I'm going to go with custom VPC, as I have public subnets and private subnets in custom VPC. So wait, let's get it more interesting. So I have a subnet group already, so I'll delete the subnet group first and teach it from the scratch. Oh, with MySQL I need to open with new tab, my bad. So I don't connect to anything. So default VPC, custom VPC, will go with custom VPC. So as you can see here, I don't have any subnet groups associated here. So let's create one subnet group here. So as you can see, so we need to have a subnet group, on which subnet group the DB instance should be launched. So create DB subnet group. So name you can give anything. So I am going to create a DB instance in private. So I am going to give a name as private subnet. So we choose custom VPC, as I have told you the reason. So we'll go with 1A and 1B. So as you can see here, if I go select only 1A, I have 3 subnets in 1A. So if you see here, we cannot create, we'll be not able to create. The reason is it's failed. So the reason stated here is DB subnet group does not meet availability zone coverage requirement. Current availability coverage only 1A, as I have selected only 1A, and we need to add subnets to cover at least 2 availability zones. This means for disaster recovery setup, if one availability zone fails, we can have another availability zone here. That is by default. You need to select minimum of 2 availability zones here. Maximum of how many availability zones you have in that particular region, you can select how many you want. So minimum of 2 is required here. So I'll go with 2 private subnets in two availability zones, as I need to create a DB instance in a private subnet, so I'll go with two availability zones. So you got to know why we got this error. So if you had enabled production there, you would have got that multi availability zone setup. As I had told earlier, high availability, for high availability you will go with production tier, not the free tier. I went with the free tier, so it doesn't matter. See, as you can see, this is the option we had at the top. You must select 3 subnets in 3 availability zones for a multi DB cluster. So now we are going with a single DB instance, so it's not a problem. So now it will get created. As you can see, our subnet group is done and dusted, so we don't need the tab anymore. Oh shit, we need to refresh this again. No, we can refresh only connectivity settings. Here, as you can see, it will get automatically associated. My subnet group is private and 2 subnets are there in 2 availability zones. 2 subnets are private subnets, as you know. And this is very important. Do you need to allow public access? No, because we are going to access the DB instance through the instance, so we don't need any public access. So this is the private DB. So choose existing VPC. So I will go with this RDS security group, where you need to allow a port number 3306. So what is RDS proxy? Do we need to allow RDS proxy or not? So if we allow RDS proxy, so we will be charged. So I am not allowing RDS proxy. So I am going to explain what is RDS proxy. So RDS proxy is another server between the instance and the RDS. So between the database instance and the EC2 instance, there will be a proxy server. If someone needs to send query to the RDS, they should write a query to the proxy through which the DB instance will be processed. So we don't want any RDS proxy, as we are going to use some small data. So availability zone is no preference, so I will go with 1A availability zone. So certificate authority optional, don't worry about it. So yeah, you need to allow 3306 port here. So that is MySQL Aurora. I will show you in the EC2 in the security group settings, don't worry. So database authentication, so password authentication. See, if you have IAM role and all, you can give here. So enable enhanced monitoring cloud watches. We don't need any monitoring. So additional configuration, we need to give a database name here, which I'll give students. This is our database name. So default parameter group and always default. Option group is also only one is there. So enable automatic backups. We need to select no here, because it will cost us a bit, I guess. It will create a snapshot when you stop this server, when you stop this database. So we don't need any encryption also, because as we are storing any small data. So log exports, we don't need any log export. You can store logs in these many ways. So IAM role is auto defined. As you can see, RDS service role linked role for a CloudWatch. So we are not enabling any CloudWatch roles here. Maintenance window, delete protection. If you delete protection, it will ask you whether it will delete or not accidentally. So we don't need. This is the pricing of DB. So we are going under free tier, so this is not a issue. So now we are going to create a database now. Let's go. So it will take a while. See, as you can see, they are still asking to use a proxy. Sorry bro, sorry bro. So let's go. So in the meanwhile, let's create an instance for storing the data. For connecting, for users to access, we need to have an instance, right? So we'll go with Linux T2 micro, as you know already. So I'm going to select my keypad. So we are going with custom VPC public subnet. Here we should allow public subnet as public needs to access instance. There we disable the public access. We are enabling the public. So I have already a security group mapped. I should change this afterwards. I will look after it. So we are going to GP2 and we are not going with any user data assigned. So that's all. Let's launch the instance. So as you can see, we have an instance running, app server which is running. So let's see if the database is created. So yeah, it will take time. Let's wait for a minute. So in the meanwhile, let's check on the security groups of this security group. So I selected RDS2 instance. So we have two enabled, HTTP and SSH to anywhere. So we need to access afterwards, not now. And we need to have SSH to connect it to the remote desktop. So here we need to allow this is the security group we gave it for database. So here you need to allow this MySQL Aurora. This is the port number 3306 and you need to allow the security group of instances. So this is it. We have not made any change, it seems. So let's go back. So let's see if yeah, the database is done. So let's connect to the Windows PowerShell. Let's connect. So we need to install MariaDB first. For that I have a code here. So we need to install MariaDB. So next we shall go into HTML. No problem, we will create here only. So we shall log in to the database server. So this is the code for that. So here you need to give your own endpoint here. So let's go to the database and check our endpoint. This is the endpoint we have. So I don't know if it will connect or not. Yeah, so we need to type this one. Sometimes the copy pasting will not work, so that's the disadvantage of this dabba. wwaq mj1.us east1.rds.amazon aws.com/p3306 is the port number, /u admin is our username. So password will be auto generated. So we need to your password. We need to give your password. So as you can see, I had entered the wrong password, so that's why this access denied came. So we are in the MariaDB monitor MySQL. So as if I tell show databases, show databases. So as you can see, there's a database which we created, students. If you remember, we had created the students database there in while creating the database. So that's here. So you can put anything of your choice. So you can put any data inside students. If you know the SQL code, you can do anything with this. So yeah, this is it. So I'm going to end this session here only. So next part will come soon, don't worry. The next part will be accessing, we'll put some user data into this database and access via instance. So yeah, next part will come soon, don't worry. So this is it. So thank you for everyone who are listening with the patience. So this was just a demo. So if you got any point, if you learned anything, so please like and subscribe. So yeah, thank you. We are now in the MySQL, and the history behind this name My is very funny. You can check that in Google. So yeah, thank you everyone. Let's go. The cleanup is you just need to delete the DB instance and the instance which is EC2 instance which is running. So that's the cleanup, that's all. Or if you want to stop your database, you can say stop temporarily, and it will automatically, if you don't start it before 10th, it will automatically start on 10th at 1:15 p.m. So yeah, this is the option to stop, and you have an option to save the DB instance in a snapshot, which will cost you. So you don't need to move that. So you can just say stop temporarily and it will be stopped. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Shall end this.